Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are well. Um, this is going to be the first of the video breakdowns for the different poems. I'm going to start with Hollow Men. It's probably the most complex of the four poems. It is also, I believe, the longest. So I'm going to break it down by verse. Okay? So this one's going to have like 5 different videos under it. Okay, starting out, a little bit of background. T.S. Eliot, as a poet, is claimed by both American literature and British literature. He was born in America, but ended up moving to England and gaining British citizenship. Hollow Men is probably his most famous poem. If not, then it would be the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, which is really, really depressing. Not that Hollow Men's particularly cheerful. Alright, so let's break it down. The opening 2 lines. Mr. Kurtz, he did. Penny for the old guy. Well, Mr. Kurtz, he did is from Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. So he's alluding to that. Heart of Darkness is itself trying to think of the best way to describe it. Heart of Darkness really does deal with the darkness in men's souls, essentially. I mean, it's kind of a self-explanatory title, but the horrible things we do to one another. Penny for the Old Guy is, if you've ever seen V for Vendetta, Guy Fawkes was the guy who tried to blow up Parliament. And then on November 5th, every year it's Guy Fawkes Day over in England, and children will go around collecting pennies for the guy, and they'll use the money to buy potatoes, which they will build an effigy of Guy Fawkes and burn him and roast the potatoes in the fire. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. Alright, verse 1. We are the hollow men, we are the stuffed men, leaning together, headpiece filled with straw, alas. Our dried voices, when we whisper together, are quiet and meaningless as wind in dry grass, or rat's feet over broken glass in our dry cellar. Shape without form, shade without color, paralyzed force, gesture without motion. Those who have crossed with direct eyes to death's other kingdom remember us, if at all, not as lost, violent souls, but only as the hollow men, the stuffed men. Okay. Initial breakdown. What are the hollow men? The stuffed men. He's using juxtaposition here, right? Hollow men, meaning there's nothing inside, yet stuffed, there is something inside. It's reminiscent of a scarecrow. You know, it's an empty man, empty clothes that are stuffed with hay. They're leaning on each other. They're unable to make their own decisions. They are scarecrows. We whisper together, quiet and meaningless as wind in dry grass. Our rat's feet over broken glass in our dry cellar. So right away he's jumping into this tone of uselessness. I don't want to say despair, but essentially he's jumping into this idea that anything they do is pointless. Shape without form, shade without color, paralyzed force, gesture without motion. All these things are empty. Shade without form is just a black blob. Shade without color is an emptiness. Paralyzed force. Well, force is something that causes movement, and yet if it's paralyzed, it can't. Then you have gesture without motion. So again, he's juxtaposing these ideas. They're not oxymorons. What's the other one? Paradoxes. They're paradoxes. Those who have crossed with direct eyes to death's other kingdom, the people who've already died, remember us, if at all, not as lost violent souls, but only as the hollow men, the stuffed men. So again, this paradox of the human condition.